I'm pleased to have sitting to my left for a kickoff to hour 3 in our final hour, as I said, here in Washington, D.C. of this week, is the 12th moderator of Meet the Press, the political director for NBC News as well, Chuck Todd. Good to see you.
Mr. Eisen.
How are you, Chuck?
Welcome to Washington.
Thank you. You broke news to me over the commercial break.
On Woody Johnson, huh?
Did you guys hear this? Woody Johnson. Go ahead, break the news.
No,
here.
The president-elect, there's a couple of lunches and brunches around here, and I guess Woody Johnson must have been sitting there, and it hadn't been formalized, but he basically said I think he pointed out, essentially saying there's my next ambassador to the UK, Woody Johnson. So, you know.
Interesting.
So Woody Johnson is going to be...
Now, can I say what your response to me was?
I please
as
go
a fan,
for it.
you know, because I said, you know, we had Rooney, you know, obviously Steelers owner, who was in the
Ireland,
Obama administration, did Ireland, and I said, you know, Woody in the Trump administration, and he's going, there's no trophies on the shelf.
Yeah,
Rooney had trophies.
Rooney had trophies
he had time
before
to
he
go
went.
to Ireland.
Yes. He had trophies so he could say, I can do something else.
So you're looking forward to the big Jets-Jacksonville UK matchup that's coming every year now.
Every year.
The Jags and the Jets.
The Jets and anybody else who needs a new stadium that has to go over and put the favor in the UK bank over there.
What Woody doesn't know is that apparently he has to share the ambassadorship with a Tish or a Marriott.
Yes.
Look,
you didn't know that yet. You didn't know that
he didn't
yet.
know that yet.
It's part of the
bad
trappings.
Bad owner humor.
Wow. How do you do that? So I guess because both.
It's the coolest gig. Can I just tell you?
Sure.
Ambassador UK is a great gig because the president and the prime minister always have a relationship, the special relationship. You always hear that. So the ambassador doesn't have to do anything. Okay, you're literally there to host parties, and you have a great house.
Mm-hmm.
This house was it's you know, America owns it, and it was gifted essentially the U.S. government, and it is beautiful. Might actually be bigger than any house Woody Johnson owns.
Well, no. Well, hold on a second.
I'm just saying
now.
it might be.
But you know,
I got the chopper onto the lawn, like you were. It was like it is a great. It is a great look. It's a great gig. If I'm Woody, I'd take it.
Well, it's good for him. I mean, you know,
but you want a Lombardi, huh?
He's been a long-time Republican donor, and
sure.
and he's been paying his dues on that front.
Absolutely.
But that said, I mean, the setup, because I'm going through.
It's killing you.
The setup is, Chuck, is that unlike other teams, the Jets have, and there are other teams who do this, but not everyone does this. The coach Todd Bowles and the general manager, Mike McCagnon, both report to Woody Johnson. So it's not as if the coach goes to the GM in some spots. That's the way it has to be. They both. So what's he going to do? I mean,
he did say that
tea and crumpets and bowls and Hackenberg.
He said that he was going to
doing?
hand over power to his brother of the Jets, and he would run the day-to-day operations. Christopher Johnson.
Chris Johnson. Not CJ2K.
Not CJ2K.
Not the Chris Johnson who was in our studio
last week. Yeah,
a 2,000 yard. That would be great if Chris Johnson was.
Does the other Chris Johnson have good burst?
I don't know.
Good owner burst.
Well, we'll find out. Good owner burst.
Yeah.
But plus, you know, you as a Packer fan could sit here and
laugh.
Yes. You're water skiing behind a yacht right now.
Absolutely.
What is it like to watch Aaron Rodgers perform like this for your team? Like
here's how it felt on Sunday, and I said, I don't think I will feel better than I do now if the Packers win the Super Bowl. I might feel as good beating the Cowboys in the Taj Mahal, you know, knowing he's suffering. By the way, as a Miami guy, as a Miami guy, I'm you know, in the divorce, I'm a Jimmy Johnson guy, right? And the Jerry Jones, I'm on Jimmy's. I'm on Jimmy's side.
Because you're a Kane.
I'm a Kane.
Right.
Love Jimmy, and I'm sorry for Jimmy. If Jerry had been able to handle it, Jimmy is Belichick. Jimmy wins 5 Super Bowls, 6 Super. I'm convinced of that. So there's the Jimmy. I felt like it as good as when the Packers have won Super Bowls. That's how important. That's just how big that one. It's the Cowboys. They've broken the Packers' heart so many times in that gulf between the Ice Bowl, you know, and today. So yeah, felt great.
But just the way he is playing, he is playing. Now, where were you on the 4 and 6 part right there? Were you thinking that maybe it's time for McCarthy to go?
I'll be fully honest. I was grumpy about McCarthy. I was all grumpy about the play calling. Not alone here. As you know, there's always a Packers cabal anywhere you go, and we've got a DC cabal here.
Well, the one he's the Speaker of the House is
There's
part of this cabal.
He's part of the cabal. Steve Hayes, who you're going to have Brett Baer on.
You mentioned Steve Hayes.
Yeah, Steve Hayes, a huge Packer fan. In fact, when I hired him, He claimed he was a Packer fan, and one of the ways I wanted to test how serious he was, this was like 15 years ago. I said, okay, who was the quarterback before Lynn Dickey? Like that to me, if you got to, did you suffer? And can you name it?
The quarterback before Lynn Dickey for the Green
Packers?
Bay Packers.
Ooh. Well, you're all going. A lot of people are going Lynn Dickey. Well, who is he talking about?
Mikowski was after Lynn
Correct.
Dickey.
Yeah, the Magic Man after.
Yeah.
So this is what
his son played in the NFL. I'll give you that hint. His son played in the NFL. I'm gonna give you one more hint.
I know.
Played at Clemson. Son did.
His son played in the NFL at Clemson.
I don't. Yeah.
David Whitehurst.
Charlie
Whitehurst. Yeah, and it was his son.
Dad.
But David Whitehurst was the quarterback and punter. Of course, Steve got the answer and he got the job.
He got.
So there you go.
That's like Diner. It's like the movie Diner. You know,
it is with all the
Colts. They couldn't get married unless they got out of the Colts quiz in the basement.
No, that's not. That's not wrong.
It's just amazing to me again to see this run. I mentioned it in the earlier in the show, and Peter King talked about it yesterday. Just never see a quarterback play like this. In the 13 years that I've been doing NFL for the NFL Network and NFL only in that regard, before this show, did all sports back in my life, but I don't recall a quarterback call his shot and then back it up, but with plays like the one that obviously won the Cowboy game, Hail Marys,
right?
Just one.
But would they look like Hail Marys enough? But he knows exactly what he's doing.
I agree with that. Yes,
I sometimes gamble, where it's legal. But watching him, it feels like it's like you're sitting at the blackjack table and you get on one of those runs when you're like, even when you get 13, you get the 8. Even when you get, it's like he was drawing 5s, 6s, and 7s with 13s and 14s and 15s, and you're just every time.
But he's splitting 10s right now.
And he's splitting now at this point, split 10
and get aces.
Get aces.
I've never seen anything like that, and to the point where I'm concerned for the Falcons.
It's important to me as a fan of Aaron Rodgers and all this stuff, and I want Aaron Rodgers to get this, to be able to beat Brady in a Super Bowl, because I think we're about to have the Brady-Rodgers conversation, and the problem is not enough hardware for Rodgers. I get it. But have him beat Brady in a Super Bowl, then suddenly we're going to just have the debate, and it'll be a debate. It never fully get resolved.
I mean, Brady's got 4,
no doubt, but then Rodgers would have 2 and a defeat over Brady.
True, but
come on,
look, and I love Aaron Rodgers, but to me, and this is not my Michigan coming out of me,
not at all.
But if Brady does make the Super Bowl, that's 7 of them.
I know.
That's 7 of them. Win or lose, he's been to 7 of them. He's gotten to a 6th consecutive AFC Championship game, his 11th personally.
Look,
which is more than other franchises combined.
I hear you. I hear you. But come on.
I know, but you're a Packer guy.
I am.
But you're not from Wisconsin?
No, I'm not.
How'd you become a Packer fan?
Brainwashing by my father. The right way you become a fan of any team, right? Parental brainwashing. No, he grew up in Iowa, small town Iowa. So even though I grew up in Miami, but he was a Packer fan. As he said, when you grow up in Iowa, you hate all things Chicago.
Sure.
So you just sort of gravitate to the things that they, anti-Chicago, because Chicago's a big city. They're not real Midwesterners, as my dad used to say.
Interestingly, the Cubs are getting everyone from their AAA affiliate in Iowa right now.
Yeah, no,
I was feeding the Cubs right now.
I always ask my dad, I said, why weren't you ever a Cubs fan either? Right. He met Roy Campanella as a kid. So that was that for him.
That was that. Yeah. Chuck Todd here on the Rich Eisen Show. For you personally, though, meet the press moderator. How does that sound for you, Chuck? For you to get to call yourself that?
It is still a, every bad day I have is still like, how the heck did I get here? You know, how did I fool them? Every day you feel like, oh my God, they're going to find out I don't, it's probably the same thing. You're like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is sort of the pinnacle of political journalism as far as I was concerned. And I still feel that way. And it's scary to have it because you feel like a responsibility. It's kind of cool. It's to know you're on the longest running television show in the world. It's a little scary. We're about to do this is our 70th anniversary.
70. So who was the first guest to Meet the Press? Do you know that?
I don't know who the first guest is. The first moderator was Martha Roundtree.
Okay.
It was on the radio. But boy, I better get that. Like, people are going to say, "Who's the first guest?" And like,
well, let's get that. Well, there's an internet.
I should just say Eleanor Roosevelt.
We're efforting that.
I'm on WebMD.com.
Yeah,
are you that hurt? Are you that hurt with your back?
You need to be at the law offices.
I have a giant bruise on my back already.
You should be. on the lofts is of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe or something.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, well
Go
I
done.
like it.
Yeah, well done.
The Stooges.
70 years.
So you don't want to be the last moderator of Meet the Press.
No, of course not.
That's like the nerve. I always say this. I just hope I'm not last.
What would you describe this town's feeling right now?
Odd. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to get, I know you don't want, but it is sort of, unsettling is too strong of a word, but it is sort of, it's been a little dispiriting. It's important to me that people remember what tomorrow's about. It's a celebration of American democracy.
Yeah.
Hard stop. That's it. Hard stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing thing we do every 4
Peaceful
years.
transfer of power.
And it is you know, and it's the ultimate in civics. And it's something, you know, I remember my elementary school, we all watched, for me, it was the first inaugural, you know, third grade Reagan inaugural in 1980, 81. And I don't remember it being red or blue. I don't remember any of that, you know? So it is that's what I hope everybody focuses on. Look, it's going to be different, but the voters spoke.
So the question I have for you, though, is as how, because, you know, in the business of what we do here, talking sports, and some of the spin that I get sometimes, it's just, I can look at that and say, really, are we going to try and go down this road? Do I have to call you out on it or not? Why are you putting me in that position? I can only imagine some of the things that you get from both sides of the aisle that you get thrown your way. How do you prepare for something like that?
You know, look, it just depends. I mean, look, I understand, you know, there's sort of a line between what your beliefs are and then spinning the BS, right? And it's sort of, look, I think what I can't be in the business of is questioning somebody's motive. You know, look, beliefs are beliefs. We don't sit here to question motive, and I don't want somebody questioning my motive. You know, that unfortunately, I've been uncomfortable lately with how the political world wants to make members of the media part of the political debate. It's like, no, I'm not here. I am not interested in being part of it. I'm interested in being above it. I'm interested in asking questions, holding accountability, extracting information, channeling, if it's voter curiosity, voter anger, whatever it is. But we all in the press need to go back to sort of, at the end of the day, the American public is counting on us to just simply not necessarily be an advocate. But sometimes it is, but to ask questions or extract information that they care about, that affect their lives. And so I think the one upside I see of everybody sort of rethinking all these different institutions and relationships is if people just got back to go back to the core roots of what we do in journalism and all this stuff, no matter whether it's covering a sporting event or covering a political event, the rules should be the same. Look, I'm concerned in sports that there's way too much. I don't like I don't like this move to aping political debate.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry. It looks like it is. It looks like it's prepackaged. I'm not going to name names here and all this stuff, but it looks prepackaged. It's on multiple networks. We all know it. And I actually think it is. I think it's chasing. I think it's going to chase fans away because we're all sort of tired of it in the political realm. Don't bring that into sports. Sports is my break.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Sports is my hobby. Sports is my happy place. Don't turn it into an unhappy place.
And a hot take machine. As a matter of fact, what we could do right now.
You got a hot take?
No, here, Derek.
Woody Johnson hot take?
Just to show you how different it is. Just the two of us can just sit here on a two-shot.
Yeah.
Is it possible, Derek, to split screen us and see what that looks like? Can we get? Oh, we don't have that split screen because if we've got split screen and we're just sitting here like this and having a conversation, that just ratchets the heat up.
It does.
The television broad, and then we throw in a topic bar at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
Oh, look out! It's on then.
It's on.
It was your
You don't
take
even have the
versus
volume.
my take.
Yeah.
Oh,
We could make Brady Rogers and turn it into an angry screaming match.
exactly, and that if Brady
Whose
doesn't
side
perform,
are you on?
Exactly, and if Brady doesn't win, he's the worst.
Right.
That's the way I can't even imagine how different.
There we go. We got you guys.
See right
it
there.
is.
See what I'm saying?
All right.
I'm already tense.
What in the world do you think?
What do you think
about Rodgers?
I'm going to put my finger in your split screen. Do you
and
see
my
it?
finger is in your split screen.
And there.
See? Now, if you remove the split screen and then you just get just the two shot, then we're
It's casual
now having
conversation.
And how are you, Chuck Todd?
Well, no, it's interesting. No, it's a simple thing. Like, it used to be a regular thing that the two leaders of the Senate, R&D, would appear together on Meet the Press. It was like sort of a traditional thing. The two leaders of the Senate for the last 10 years have refused to do this. And it is, you know, it's whatever it is. Part of it is they think, oh, geez, my base won't like it if I'm sitting next to him. And you're like, good grief. You know, this is what we've got to sort of like
hopefully get through
it. I think that there are a lot of people that probably had families yelling at each other. I know we all had the anecdotes of people unfriending family on Facebook and all this stuff. And it's like, wait a minute. If somebody declared war on us, that person that you used apocalyptic language on the left or the right, is going to pick up arms and fight with you because they care about America. And if everybody would see their passion means they both care about this country, well, that's the positive, but we seem to miss that.
Well, hopefully we can get back to that. Thanks for coming on, Chuck.
We
Thanks
have
for
Meet
having me, man.
Meet the Press's first ever guest.
Oh, you do have that?
So you can. James Farley served as Postmaster General, DNC Committee Chair to Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yes, and let me give you a little James Farley trivia. This is how brilliant, and imagine if a president did this today.
Look at you.
So Farley was basically FDR's guy, his political guy, his Karl Rove, his David Plouffe, you know, that sort of guy. And they thought, what better way to essentially have unofficial field offices all around the country than put your campaign manager in charge of the post office. So essentially, he was able to use use that piece to essentially have unofficial FDR field offices all around the country.
Genius.
Now, yes, it's genius. Wow. Now, since I think people sort of like, but you know, you talk these arguments here. Oh my God, a president might do this. A president might. We've had plenty of presidents try to manipulate the system for their own political benefit. Eventually, the guardrails of American democracy work, and we don't allow that. But yeah, that was I thought it's brilliant, but yeah, it would have been.
It's like
now,
Harbaugh with satellite camps popping up all around the country.
Sort of just
recruiting.
like that. And now 70 years later, the owner of the New York Jets is now Donald Trump's ambassador.
In honor of
UK.
you, I switched reading glasses today. I got my Harbaughs.
Look at you, man. He's got his Harbaughs on. Will you wear those on Meet the Press?
You know, I wanted to last Sunday, and my director said, "Oh, it's got a glare on it," but I don't know. I kind of like it.
Tell your director.
Don't you like the Harbaugh?
You're Chuck Todd.
You know,
you're Chuck Todd. You were on a split screen on the Rich Eisen show.
A split screen, and
yes,
that's
and
right.
Your finger was in my split screen, and my finger was in yours. Thanks for coming on, Chuck.
Rich, welcome.
Pleasure.
Enjoy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.